me start by saying I've seen the whole series and loved it. I can't recommend this enough for people to watch. It's very powerful and important. For both of you, can you both talk a little bit about what it was about the material that said, "Oh, I have to do this"?
Well, personally, I mean, I think climate change is a really important subject, and I think we're sort of bombarded with a lot of climate information about what's really happening in the world, a lot of data that doesn't really mean very much to many people. And so when art meets life and data, as it were, math, something I'm not very keen on, and it's entertaining, it's like a no-brainer. For me, that's what I wanted to do. It's like the ultimate storytelling that has a purpose. For me, that was it. And also being made by Scott Burns, he really knows how to tell a story. Great writing.
Oh, yeah. Same thing. Being part of such an important story to tell that needs to be told, to tell the audience that it's important to think about our future, our planet, and make them a little more aware of what's happening now, and that there's still a hope that we can change things if we do it now. And at the same time, as an actor, to just, being offered a part like this and such a beautiful show, being part of such an incredible cast, working with Scott, especially because my 2 episodes were directing by him. I didn't have the honor to work with you, Indira, and the others. So I'm really excited to see it too, because I haven't read the episodes and I haven't seen them. But yeah, mainly the topic and selfishly as an artist, being part of a beautiful, compelling show.
Tahar, I have to ask you an individual question. My favorite of the 8 is episode 6, which is one that you are a part of. In fact, it's your episode essentially. What was it like actually for you reading that script? Because it's so beautiful and heartbreaking and so it just feels real, the depiction of the future.
Oh, thank you so much. When I first read the script, I was amazed by the quality, it was so obvious to me. I felt like really jumping in the future, that it was real, even if it's in terms of writing a fiction, but it's based on science. And it was crazy to feel like a young man in the future being, affected by what we've done in a way. And my character is not even talking about climate change. He is in it, he's a victim of that because he's got an illness and all. And more personally, it was so challenging to play many different roles and in different languages. And that emotional journey that Ezra's going in was beautiful because it's heartbreaking. And at the same time, at some point, there's hope, there's a light. He's going to meet somebody, the great Gemma Chan. And then, I don't want to spoil.
Right, exactly. No, I don't want you to spoil anything. But talk for both of you. One of the things that the series does so well is it involves real people, but also people at the highest levels of government trying to. You're seeing all sides of it. You basically play someone who is I don't want to give too much away, but is willing to do things to try to help the planet.
Yes. Geeta she has power basically as a billionaire, and she also has her own motivation and reasons why she wants to save the planet. But I think she wants to play God because she has that much power. It's funny, isn't it? Because we were talking about how some of the themes within this series one of the themes is greed. It's like what motivates, what makes us do something or not do something, and why are we doing that thing? And I think that is one of the things that I find quite interesting as to Geeta's own motivations within the series, definitely.
For both of you, I'm always curious about how things are made and the behind the scenes. So for soon-to-be fans of the series, what do you think might surprise people to learn about the actual making of the show?
Hard question. I don't know.
Maybe people would be surprised by how much of it is real science.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's quite shocking. I mean, it's all stuff that exists. It's all technology that exists now, but Scott has extrapolated how it might be used or how it might be developed in 30 to 50 years' time. I think that would probably be shocking and surprising and hopefully galvanizing.
Tahar, do you want to add anything, or I can move on? One of the things that I think is great about the show is it's one thing to read about. In the future, people will walk around with an oxygen mask and an oxygen tank. It's another thing to see people actually doing it in a realistic portrayal while also just dealing with their normal lives. And hopefully a series like this can really impact the conversation in our government leaders. Can you sort of talk about how art can sometimes really impact the real world?
Well, I think you've just put the nail on the head, really. You've just hit the nail on the head. I think it's that thing of, often problems can feel like they're happening elsewhere or to other people. If you're in a position, if you live somewhere where you're not affected by climate change. So actually seeing it helps people feel, and then hopefully they'll realize that stuff needs to be done. And it's not just the individuals. We as individuals, we all need to change our lifestyles, but it's also big, like government. It's big industry. It's big business. We need to pressure them in order to change as well and stop greenwashing, all that kind of thing, and reduce carbon emissions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Right, exactly. Well, before we run out of time, I'm going to ask an individual question for each of you. You're both in upcoming projects that I'm very excited about. Tahar, you were part of Madam Web and I believe Ridley Scott's Napoleon, which is, I'm very excited. And India, you're part of Dune, The Sisterhood, and some Mission Impossible movie. I've heard about that. Can you both tease your upcoming roles and these upcoming projects, if you don't mind?
Ooh. I wish I could talk about, Madam Web and all. All I can say is that it's a beautiful story, different than what we've seen before, and that you're going to love it, as I did. Napoleon, I can talk a little bit more about. I'm playing Paul Barras, who was one of the five, was the most important and influential director of the Directory in the post-French Revolution, and he's the one who discovered Napoleon.
I've actually got something for Netflix coming out called Obsession, which is essentially Josephine Hart novel called. It's based on the Josephine Hart novel Damage. I don't know if you remember, there was a film with Jeremy Irons and Juliette Binoche in the 90s, and that's being remade. Well, we remade it. That's coming out fairly soon. That's quite fun. Totally different to this. And the other two science fiction projects are, well, not a patch on this, because this is real science nonfiction.
I'm just going to say congrats on this. It's really exceptional work. Thank you for making it, and good luck with the rest of your speed dating.